Hey, and welcome to the GotTechED Throwdown. This is the remote learning edition. If you want access to today's slides, you can go to the bit.ly link in the top left corner. We're going to try to promote a little bit of activity on social media, so make sure that you're using the hashtag for this event, as well as the GotTech hashtag and tag at WeGotTech in order to try to win some free swag. We want to thank the state of New Jersey and the Department of Education for putting on this event. Anything that we could do to learn together, be better together, and be more prepared for our students during this remote and hybrid period is definitely something we need to be focusing on. So I am Eric Guise. I am from Hopewell Valley. I teach there AP Bio, and I'm also a tech coach and media specialist.
And my name is Nick Johnson. I'm a chemistry teacher, also at Hopewell Valley, also a tech coach. And Guise and I together, we are podcast hosts. Most of all, we're just PD enthusiasts and excited to be sharing this presentation with everybody today. So just a quick little bit about us. If you like what you hear in this presentation, you can get more by following us on Twitter at WeGotTechED. We post all kinds of stuff there. Most of it comes from our podcast. That's GotTechED the Podcast. If you're a podcast listener, you can find us anywhere you get podcasts, whether that's from Apple or Stitcher or even Spotify. We also host a YouTube live session every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Right now, it's the session is called Flipped Flops, where we talk about times where we made a mistake in our flipped classroom as a way to help teachers get better at running their own flipped classroom. So those are some ways you can track us outside of this presentation. Some objectives for today. First of all, this is built for probably your upper grades, maybe the 6 to 12 range. What we hope to do is provide you with an educational technology resource library. What we like about the selections we've chosen is that they work no matter what your instructional setting. They work in person, they work hybrid, they work fully remote or virtual. So sort of whatever environment you're in, this stuff is going to work for you. We've provided you with some template options that you can also use during remote learning. These templates also work really great in person too. And then lastly, just providing a resource that can help teach all learners no matter what you're dealing with. So what to expect today? If you've accessed these slides using the bit.ly link at the start there, you'll notice that pretty much everything is linked. If we're talking about a resource and you click the title of that page, it's going to take you to that resource. And a lot of the clickable links here help you navigate through the slides themselves. So it's just something we always like to point out to people in case you're looking through that slide deck later on your own or while watching the presentation. And then lastly, just a sort of a side note to the whole thing. We are EdTech guys, and that's what we push more than anything else. But we are also aware that technology does not solve all your problems, and there's no replacement for just good teaching. But we do like to push this stuff because we really believe that technology has an amazing potential to support a diverse group of learners. And a lot of that is in ways that just would not be possible. So it's just something we like to mention at the start before we get deeper into the technology. And then lastly, a quick intro to what you're about to see. Guise and I are very competitive. If you're a podcast listener, you'll see that we argue a lot about who's got the better tech. And today's presentation is going to be part of that. You're going to hear Guise present 5 technology selections. I'm going to present 5. And at the end, you guys get to actually vote and tell us who's better. Sometimes Guise wins, sometimes I win. It depends on the audience in the given day. I think I've really got them for this one. So make sure you pay attention and vote at the end to let us know who's got the better selections. We've also got 2 templates apiece that we think will work extra great for small group instruction in your virtual classroom.
All right, so there's no time to waste here. I'm going to get right into my first example, which is OneTab. OneTab is an amazing Chrome browser tab organizer for you, and it does a lot more than that. You can see a picture of it right here. There's a whole bunch of tabs being open. I'm going to show you this real quick because it is pretty awesome. So I have a whole bunch of tabs up here, and as you can see, I have my OneTab extension downloaded. When you click on that, all the tabs collapse into a hyperlinked web page right here. So if I want to bring these back, I could hit restore all, or I could bring one back at a time by just clicking on them. I could delete them all, but here's something that is pretty awesome. If you want to give your students a collection of resources that you do not want them to leave during that class period, you could share this as a web page. Okay, by doing this, all it's going to do is it's going to give you a URL up here, which you could copy and paste and give to your students. Other things that you could do with one tab, you can name this group. You can lock this group so it won't be able to be deleted until you unlock it. And you can star it, which is going to throw it closer to the top. So that is one tab. All right, next up is Mote. Mote is a fantastic feedback tool that you could use in the classroom and in the remote setting to give personalized feedback. I'm going to go into a Google Doc real quick. This is just some text that I copied and pasted from a blog of ours. And this is just how to share some G Suite files. So if Nick and I were collaborating on this, or any student, and I wanted to give a comment here, I would highlight this, hit add, and notice that there's a Mote symbol over here. There's also one up on my extensions bar. And the way that this works is you would click on Mote, you would start recording a feedback message, and when you are done, you would hit done. All right, it's going to think through that a little bit, and you're going to go ahead and hit comment. And what it's going to do is two things. It's going to make a transcript of your feedback, and it's also going to make a audio file of your feedback as well. So here's exactly what I said, and if I would hit play, you would be able to hear me as well. Fantastic tool for feedback. All right, next up is Voice to Note 2. Voice to Note 2 is a Google app, and I believe they also have an extension as well. So when you hop over to Voice Note 2, what it's going to do is bring up this blank canvas. And I love this tool for my special ed population that might have trouble with their fine motor skills typing. Down here, what you want to do is you want to select your language to English, and then you're going to come over to the side here and click the microphone. This is the first sentence of my project. I will probably copy and paste this into a Google Doc when I am done, period. So I'm going to just voice whatever I want to type, and it is going to type it out for me, and then I could just copy and paste this directly into a Google document so the teacher can grade. So I really love Voice to Note 2. Next up is Slides Mania. This is probably the #1 tool that I'll share today. This is really a resource. Let's go over to Slides Mania. So a lot of us use PowerPoint. A lot of us use Google Slides. Paula, she's amazing. I believe she has a financial job during the day, and then at night she makes different templates for teachers to decompress, and she shares them with everybody. They are free. You could download them, whether you want Google Slides or PowerPoint. Notice she's very creative. She has passports. She has digital notebooks. If you go up to education, you could pull down some others. Yearly planners, weekly planners, choice boards, and games. This is one of my favorites. Here's a filing cabinet that she uses to help teachers stay organized. So each one of the filing cabinets has 3 drawers to it, and you're able to mark that drawer with whatever unit or chapter or topic that you want. When you click on that drawer, it opens up, and then you're able to label the file folder. So if you have 6 modules that you're giving students, you could have each folder with module 1, module 2, module 3, and then the drawers pop open, and you would be able to give them directions for that activity. So this is all a slides template and a PowerPoint template, and it's free for whatever you want to use. I'm going to spend a little bit more time here. Here's a digital game. You would just change the questions. On the question slides, there's a challenge board over there. But there's a lot of good stuff on Slides Mania, so make sure you go check that out. Okay, next up is a curation tool Wakelet. Wakelet is teamed up with Flipgrid, so I really like this one because I like giving my students resources. But what I want to show you right quick is I want to show you how to make a lesson out of this. So let's head over to Wakelet real quick, and this is a lesson in biology that I've created on environmental issues, where students must watch a video on 3 different topics, and then they have to add a resource, picture, graph, statistic, whatever it may be, underneath it, and then create a Flipgrid short. This is a short video using the Flipgrid platform that hooks right into this. I'm going to spend a little time showing you how this works. When you set this up, I have editing rights. You can invite anyone to collaborate on this board, and that's how you get your students to participate, either by email or by a shared link. But when you click these plus buttons, so students would be able to watch this video, click the plus button and add a resource. They could paste a URL to a website. They could add text, a YouTube video. If there's a tweet out there with a resource, you could add that in here. Images. You could upload a PDF. You could get files from your Google Drive or OneDrive. And here's where they would add a Flipgrid short. Now, if I would click on this, because I'm using my video for this video, you wouldn't see anything. So I'm just going to explain it. They would go here. They would click the record button. They would do their 15-second summary of their resource that they shared with the class, and then they would go to the next video. So you could get a pretty powerful curation of resources here and some evidence from your students that will add that to this Wakelet board. You could share these with others. You can make copies. You could set them as private, public, whatever you want to do. When you're done, click done, get the shareable link, and share it with your colleagues and your students. Well, those are my 5 EdTech tools. I hope that you can find uses for some of them. Hopefully you could take one of them away and apply it to your small group virtual classroom or your in-person classroom. A lot of these can be used to personalize learning, to provide powerful feedback, and some of these can be used as a pretty powerful tool to help level the playing field in education with our students with special needs. So I'm going to kick it over to Nick, and he's going to go over his 5 EdTech tools.
So my first selection is called Trello. Trello is like the ultimate online list making tool. With Trello, you can create boards, lists. Those lists have cards which enable you to collaborate with others on the same to-do list. Within here, you can organize, prioritize your projects in a really fun and flexible way. So to start, just Google search for Trello, where it lets you start a new board. You notice I got a cool background. You can choose your own or select from many of theirs. Within the board, you can set these different lists. I've got one labeled short term. Let's start another labeled long term, and maybe another labeled today. So my favorite part about it is you can start as many of these different to-do lists as you want. Within each list, you simply add a card and enter the items that you have to complete. Go grocery shopping. You can also color code these cards to help keep track of what's done, what's not done, as well as removing them and collaborating on these lists with other people that your Trello board is shared to. Text Giraffe is my second selection. It's also one of my favorites. Essentially, it's a free logo maker. You can type in any text you want. It'll spit out that text in a bunch of different cool fonts and artistic versions. You can customize your own free logo using this tool. Use that logo designer for really anything you want. Presentations for class. Share it out with your students for their own class projects. There's a wide variety to choose from. So you can start by Google searching for Text Giraffe or click the link in this presentation. That'll open up their main page. There's simply a box or a field where you can enter whatever you want. Let's say I'm making this for my chemistry page. I type in the text I want to turn into a logo and click the pink Go button. As you scroll down, you'll see all the different options of logos for the text you've entered, and the pages go on and on and on. When you find one you like, to keep it, simply click it. It shows you an enlarged version and click download to save a copy to your computer. Next, I've got Canva for Education. This is one of the best graphic design tools out there. There is a regular Canva that you have to pay for, but the education version is easy, and the best part is that it's free. Again, simply Google search Canva or click the link in this presentation. When you go there and sign up, you'll see a page that looks like this. They have tons and tons of templates, and that's the best part about it. Social media posts, events that you're doing around school. A lot of this stuff is geared towards businesses which might want to be marketing products. But if you head down to the end, you'll see there's an option for school, and this is the best part. Really super professional posters, infographics. They have presentation templates for your next slideshow, brochures, worksheets, really awesome worksheet things that'll really kind of help your typical boring worksheet kind of pop. There's lesson plan templates, yearbooks, class schedules, mind maps. The list goes on. You can make your class documents look really super exciting and engaging with Canva for Education. The next time you're looking for inspiration for a new class project, you need to go to Chromebook App Hub. There's so many ideas collected here. The Chromebook App Hub opens up a world of possibilities for learning and for lesson plans. Essentially, it's an idea repository where just teachers can go and post cool things in the EdTech world. So you can explore ideas. There's also a special app section that help inspire budding digital citizens, scientists, and world explorers. Google searching Chromebook App Hub will bring you here. The main page is a feature of different apps that educators love. You can explore this, sort by category, age range, integrations, purchasing options. So if you only want free things, you can set it there. My favorite use of this is actually under the Ideas tab. This is more like lesson plans. They call them Idea Sparks. So like I said, if you need some kind of inspiration for something new, just come here and start looking around. Like here, memory maps, morning, and Ozobots. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds pretty cool, and it's something I can click on to explore and maybe incorporate it into my own class. My last selection is really great. It's called Classroom Q. This is essentially an electronic hand-raising tool so that no students get overlooked. What that means is, or I like to imagine that moment in class where students are all working in groups and there's hands being raised all over the place, and you're, as the teacher, you're sort of frantically running from place to place. Inevitably, some kids get left out. Maybe they put their hands down because you can't make it to them in time. Classroom Q takes care of all of those issues. So when you go to classroomq.com to get started, you'll see a screen that looks like this, the teacher side and the student side. Of course, you'll get started by clicking the teacher side and logging in. You can register for free, but there is also a paid version, so I'm going to go ahead and click log in. As soon as I log in, the screen asks me to start a new Classroom Q session, which I'll do by simply clicking start. There's a class code that you're going to want to share with your students. You can write it on the board or project on the screen, whatever you'd like to do. From the student side, and I'm going to copy paste this so I can show you what your students will do. You'll send your students to the same Classroom Q homepage, except they'll click on the Students button. They have a chance to enter their name and enter the class code that you provided them, and clicking OK. There's no need for the students to register, so you don't have to worry about that. They can type in a comment, so maybe they need help with problem number 1, and click the big giant blue Assistance Needed button. It lets them know that assistance is on the way and that they are first in line or third in line or whatever their place in line might be. If they resolve the issue, they can click cancel and it removes them from your list. Now back on the teacher side, I can see that student's name. I can see the comment they typed in, and I can make sure to go and provide them the help that they need. When this whole thing is over, you simply end the session where it asks you to export a log so you can help keep track of what students needed help with.
All right, now's the time that we've all been waiting for. It is the time that we need to choose a victor. Is it Nick or is it me? Who had the best EdTech tools? You can vote for the victor by going to this bit.ly link right here, bit.ly/edtechvote. It is case sensitive. Here's another recap of the 10 EdTech tools that we've provided you with some expertise on. And once we're done with this, we're going to go over into our next segment, which are templates for small group instruction. Now, you'll be able to click on these templates and grab the templates that you like out of these 4. Feel free to use them, share them, and change them to fit your needs. All right, let's get into my first template, which is a Jamboard template. If you click on the name or the picture, it will bring up a copy of the Jamboard template. So let's go into Jamboard. So one of my favorite things about this is how interactive it can be with a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet meeting. What I do is I use the first slide to give the directions, and then I will assign them groups. So in this case, I'm doing an environmental impact of humans. This is my jam. So group 1 will do a fracking article, group 2, mountaintop mining, group 3, lanternflies article. So here are the directions, and then they will break up into the groups. I just made 3 groups just to show you, but normally I would only have 2 or 3 students work per group. So I would have to create more of these. So the first group, after they get done reading, what they'll do is come in here and they'll show their pros and cons of the issue, and then they will go out and they will find other pieces of evidence that kind of gives the complete picture for fracking. We go to the next one, mountaintop mining. Group 2 will be working on that, and group 3 will be working on the lanternflies one. Now you could get really creative with this. You could either have them present it in their Zoom or Google Meet, but I also like for them to do screencasts. So if you have them do a screencast, especially if they're working as individuals, they could just do a screencast of their Jamboard slide here. And then it's kind of like doing a gallery walk or a presentation. So when you're done having the kids do that, you could take the whole jam, share it out with everyone, and tell each kid that they have to go watch a different presentation. And they would watch the screencast, which is a tour of their slide. So this is just a fun, interactive way to get students kind of feeling like they're in the classroom, even though that they would be virtual. My second template is a Bitmoji choice board. I love choice boards. I like giving students choice. It really personalizes the learning, and it makes them feel like they have a say in what they're doing. So you typically get more buy-in by doing this. So you'll either click on the name or the image. That will bring up a copy of the template. So here I have 3 different choices that they could do. They could do a GIF newspaper, which you'll learn about in next session. You could do a digital board game where they would have to answer questions as they go around the digital board game. Or they could do a choose your own interactive slides where it's a whole bunch of questions, and if they get it right, they move on to the next question. If they get it wrong, they have some type of assignment or a little activity that they have to do, so they pick up the information that they didn't know. So the first slide is the choice board. The second one, I put how to make a Bitmoji scene video in, and then the next 3 slides are the actual templates of each one of these activities. So if you wanted to use those or grab a copy of them, you can. So this is a Bitmoji choice board. If I was doing this in my class, I would also have a rubric down here for each one of these activities. So that will help them best decide which one that they think they would like to do. So I hope this is a template that you find useful.
So for my first template selection, we've got a GIF newspaper. This is a really fun way to have your students demonstrate their knowledge. Instead of just making a typical newspaper page, it can actually be animated using GIFs. I like to think about this as if you've ever seen Harry Potter, you know that the newspapers in Harry Potter, the images actually move. Well, essentially, that's what you get to create here, or what your students get to create. And the Harry Potter connection is actually a fun way to introduce it to them too. So to use the template, simply click the title here and click the link. We've got it set up to force you to make your own copy. So when you click the blue button, it'll open up your very own version in your own Google Drive. So you'll see our template set up right away. We've got a 2-page newspaper set up. With each of these, there's text boxes that you can have your students edit and add their own text. We've got some GIFs plugged in from Gladiator, but of course you'll delete those and insert your own GIFs that match the theme of whatever newspaper you or your students are creating. When you're inserting your own GIFs into this template, you want to make sure to do it the proper way so they actually play like you're seeing here. Here I've just got a quick Google search of some chemistry themed GIFs. If this is the one I want to include, I right click and select copy image address. Then going back to my template, the insert tab, I scroll down or scroll here to image, and you have to select by URL. Pasting the image I just copy pasted from my Google search and clicking insert. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but it'll add that GIF in such a way that it actually plays. I can then delete the GIF that's in the template and add my own. So if your students are working on these, make sure to show them that when it's all said and done. This is a Google slide, so you can just have them submit it to you in whatever way works best. Sometimes I'll go to the download feature here, have them download it as a PDF and submit it to me that way, just because it's a little bit cleaner. The second template I wanted to share with you guys is a Google Slides gallery walk. If you've ever done a gallery walk in class, you know it's a really fun sort of engaging activity where you put up student work around the room and just spend some time where everybody sort of walks around and views all the other students' work. It's really fun, and it's a nice sort of low pressure way to showcase what your students have created. When a virtual classroom, say over Zoom, this gets to be a little bit more difficult, but we think we can get close to how it actually works in real life with this Google Slides version. Essentially, students create a visual representation on a slide that you assign them, and then present their slide during whatever remote learning classroom you're running. So again, to view the template, just click on our title and the link that pops up. It's going to force you to make a copy. What opens is now your own version of the template. We've got some directions laid out on slide number 1. You can leave these for your students or tape them or take them out depending on what you need. Starts off with a narrative. These are essentially your directions or introduction to the assignment. Research is asking students to add some guided notes on a topic and then create some sort of a product based on those notes. The sharing component, and this is where the gallery walk piece comes in, is you ask the students to share their creation on the assigned slide. You can see the whole rest of the template is just assigned slides, numbered slides, so you can assign students a number where they type their name and enter their information and their creation. The coolest part is the collaboration feedback option. We want to replicate some of the discussions that students might have during an in-person gallery walk here. They add their discussion points on each topic to the speaker notes beneath. Typically, the speaker notes is used for just that, right? Notes that the speaker can view while they're presenting, but why not use this as a discussion space as the students view each other's work in this digital gallery walk? Okay, so that wraps it up, guys, for our presentation. Remember, if you want more EdTech tools, more templates, more content, you can follow us on Twitter at GotTechED. We also have a website, GotTechED.com. We have blog posts with even more templates. We have blog posts with the templates you saw today, in case you don't have access to the slides for some reason, as well as all of our podcast episodes. Remember, we put out an episode of the podcast every 2 weeks, and they're all different, and they all feature new and exciting creative ways to use EdTech in your classroom. Also, our Flipped Flops YouTube live series, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. You can find that by going to treefishedu.com. Thanks for listening.